So the final score at Stamford Bridge, Chelsea 1, Crystal Palace 1, as those two teams split the points.
Do you know, is Frank with us?
He is with us, and we'll hear from him.
Before we let Frank analyse this game, I want to say something. I heard something in the commentary today, and I was like, wow. And I may have misheard it, but being Chelsea, I don't think I did. Is Nico Jackson, who scored for the second game in a row, has just signed a contract extension, I believe, wait for it, until 2033.
Wow.
And I sat back and I nearly choked in my coffee. I thought, I know we need to confirm this, but I think that's what we heard. And I thought, I know Chelsea have been giving out these.
Maresca confirmed it after the game.
He signed a contract extension.
That's how they're doing business now. That's how they're doing business now. I mean, we can't pretend like we're shocked by that.
That's 9 years away, and a guy who there's a big question mark over. He scored today, scored at Wolves last week. A contract extension, that even for Chelsea is like, I'm like sitting there going, 2033? When is that?
Once they find a centre forward to buy, he's not going to play. This guy's only playing because they haven't been able to sign a centre forward. So why would they give him an extended contract?
I just thought I would throw that in there as context into how not to get carried away, because Chelsea had this great performance at Wolves. Second half, fantastic. First half today, better than second half. But it's almost like, that was a couple of games, great contract, extension. And Crystal Palace struggling, 3 games, no points. Chelsea not getting the job done.
It wouldn't be a Chelsea conversation if we weren't talking about some kind of weird contracts. But Frank, I saw your text message exchange with our producer before the show. You didn't have any fun watching this Chelsea game? What happened?
Well, mostly because I was disappointed by the second half. You know, I thought the first half was decent. I wouldn't say perfect. They had one chance, I think, before they scored the goal with Madueke hitting the post. But otherwise, I thought they could have finished the game, and they didn't. And the second half, I saw Crystal Palace being better. Chelsea had some chances to score, and Nicol Jackson at the end should have scored. But there are too many other chances that I want to talk about where I feel that Chelsea has to work. First, I want to say that Crystal Palace got better. Second half is maybe why Chelsea couldn't play that well. Defensively, they were perfect, almost perfect. And offensively, they worked hard. And Eze he's a different player. I can feel it. The goal that he scored is absolutely fantastic. But Chelsea, there is one chance that they have when Cuckoo has the ball like 20, 25 yards out of the goal. And he goes toward the goal, and he has Jackson in front of him, and Joao Felix on the right side. And it's like they never worked that out, where normally Jackson has to cross before and in front of Kunku, where he goes wide, blocks Joao Felix, and Kuku gives him the ball, but he shots away. And the second thing is Joao Felix having a chance to give the ball to Nicol Jackson like 2 minutes before the end, and tries to shoot when Nicol Jackson is completely alone. Those details, we didn't see that with Liverpool. We didn't see that with Manchester City. Players, they give the ball at the right time to the right people, and people make the right runs. It's where Chelsea have to improve in the way of working offensively. But I would say that I'm disappointed because they should have won that game. Don't forget that they won against Wolves. Wolves, they may be, 18th in the table. Crystal Palace, they're 15th. I'm not convinced that Chelsea is going to get better than last season, but I can see some improvement. But I got bored the second half. I have to say it. I got bored because I didn't see a pace comparing to Crystal Palace.
So they answered all the questions we had after the Wolves game. Everybody had the same thought. Was this a one-off? Was this a flash in the pan? This fantastic attacking play? Now, I agree with Frank that Chelsea were the better team overall, but, the chances they had in the first half, it was a little spell of about 10 minutes where Madueke had a couple, and then they got the goal. But then, in the second half, Crystal Palace woke up and started competing. And at the end of the day, there wasn't that much between the two sides. So the question's been answered. Wolves was a flash in the pan.
You agree with that?
Well, as good as the Wolves' performance was, and it was, I think what we saw today was a Palace side much more defensively organised than Wolves. Wolves capitulated in the second half. If you look at Ait Nouri, the left back, he'd been booked. He was all over the shop. He's stepping into the midfield. 2 of the goals that Madueke scored in the second half came down that side. So it was a little bit of both, but not to take anything away from Chelsea. But it's always going to be more difficult against better organised sides. And that's what Palace are, because they know they're a bit limited going forward. So they had to sit a bit deeper. I mean, they've sold Joachim Andersen to Fulham. They thought they were going to lose Mark Gay as well. If that had happened, Oliver Glasner might as well just get on a flight back to Germany, because they would have sold the house at that point. At least they kept their best centre-half. So they've got a little bit about them. I think there is some signs of improvement from Chelsea there, but I think we all said after the Wolves game, don't expect to see this every week. That's just too big a step.
You laughed at me when I brought up Manchester United's top 4 chances. Would you do the same for Chelsea's?
I think unlikely. I think, we're going to talk about Tottenham, but they have their own issues. But then you've got Villa, you've got Newcastle. Who else you got? Well, you then throw United in there. Are they better? Maybe they're holding their hopes that Villa have got a Champions League to play this year. But I think unlikely Chelsea would get top 4, to be quite honest with you.